Dayton, Ohio, no better launching off point for March Madness here in the basketball heartland as we are set for night 2 of the first 4 at North Carolina Central, North Dakota State, ready to get the party started with one of these two teams set to punch their ticket to the first round of the NCAA tournament. A look at where these two teams sit. The winner has the unenviable task of taking on Zion Williamson and the #1 overall seeded Duke Blue Devils in Columbia on Friday night. And welcome everyone courtside here at Dayton. Spiro Ditas alongside Steve Smith, and a big welcome to Jim Jackson, former 2-time Big Ten Player of the Year. We'll hear from Rosgold on Wood-A in just a moment. Smitty, let's start with North Carolina Central. No strangers to Dayton. There's their 3rd straight year here. They have yet to break through. They're hoping that this is their year, and a big reason for their success has been their senior center, Rashawn Davis.
Yeah, for sure, Spiro. You talk about the 6'9" senior out of Chicago, the most outstanding player in the MEAC tournament. What he can do is he's that low post present, loves to go that left shoulder, and you can see he will rebound the basketball. What I love about him, he's that anchor on defense as well. And this is one of the reasons why he shoots 65% in the nation, Jim and Spiro. He attacks the basket. And then for Lavelle Moten coming off the bench, Jabri Blunt, he gives you 10.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, but he's active, he's energy, he's tough. And he's the son of Mel Blunt of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he can flat out score the basketball. Had 31 against Howard in February.
Good genes in that family. Meantime, North Dakota State, this team wasn't supposed to be here. They were 2-7 a month into the season, were able to storm their way back and won the Summit League. So here they are, and they have been led by their junior JUCO transfer, Vinny Shaheed.
Well, it's the reason why they're in the NCAA right now, because of Shaheed's play. 2-1 assist, a turnover ratio, 22 points in the championship game. This is the Summit Conference's newcomer of the year. He can beat you off the pick and roll. He loves to pull up in transition. He has a 2-1 assist to turnover ratio, which means that one thing, he values the basketball. And they took the TV away from him. Yeah, the heart and soul of this Bison team is Jared Samuelson, 6'3", junior, 7.2 points, but in his last 8 games, shooting 22 for 42 from behind the 3-point line. A coach's dream. He just took the TV.
All right, stage is set. North Carolina Central, North Dakota State. Tip-off next.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing. Sonic. This is how you Sonic. Shell Rotella Gas Truck. This is truck oil. And by Degree, official partner of March Madness.
Let's go dance.
When you first touched the basketball, when you were 5, 6, 7, whatever it was, when you first touched the basketball, the reason you went back and played it again is because you had fun with it. That's the reason. What I'm thinking about in the hotel, it's 1% of people in this world that actually get an opportunity to live their dreams. 1%. And you right here, right now, one chance away.
Year 10 for Lavelle Moten. He's hoping this is the Eagles' year. We'll see if tonight's their night. Let's welcome in Rosgold on Wood-A. Rise.
Thank you, Spiro. We got a tough story for North Dakota State assistant coach Kyan Brown. He lost his home to a fire right in the heart of the season in February. Now, he wasn't home, but his wife, Suzanne, was able to usher their 3 kids and 2 dogs out of the house, but the house did not survive. Coach Brown has been overwhelmed with support. The players even chipped in on a gift card to a restaurant for Kyan and his wife so that they could go on a date night in the midst of the chaos. Suzanne couldn't be there to see Kyan and NDSU win the Summit League championship because on that same day, she was actually moving the family into their new rental home. But she is here today. And Kyan emotionally, guys, told me a win today would mean so much for the team, but also for the strength of his wife, Suzanne, and their family. guys.
Unbelievable story, Rise. You hope that the worst is behind them and the family as the team has rallied around them. Starting lineups for these two 16 seeds, with the winner advancing to take on Duke in Columbia on Friday night. A lot of seniors on this North Carolina team. Randy Miller Jr., Larry McKnight, with Zachary Douglas. We touched on Rashawn Davis. Meantime, North Dakota State, this is a team that goes 10 deep. They like to keep guys fresh, and they just keep coming at you in waves. The champions out of the Summit League. And there's David Richmond, second NCAA tournament appearance as the Bison's head coach. Just 40 years of age. Born and raised in North Dakota from the city of Wapaton, about an hour south of Fargo. He grew up a North Dakota State fan. Initially an assistant, hired by Tim Miles, then alongside Saul Phillips. Saul, of course, took over as head coach. And now it's Richmond's show. Hoping that North Dakota State can continue their dream. Here are the Eagles to get it going. It's Larry McKnight Jr. dialing it up from deep.
Spiro, what a good sign for the Eagles, getting a chance to knock down that first shot and also stretching the defense, Jim. And Spiro with a nice three-point shot.
Well, that's how you want to start the game. You kind of work out the jitters by seeing the ball go in early. Plus, like you said, Smitty, it allows you now to set your defense and try to apply some pressure.
It's Jared Samuelson. And we touched on at the top, put together one of the great three-point shooting seasons in the history of the Summit League, 46%.
Well, and here's the thing about it. This team is fashioned behind the three-point line, either the pick and roll. You see the spot-up jump shot, I think 9th nationally in three-point shooting. And they can really stretch you, so it's going to be incumbent that you talk early and often. You're the Eagles.
Shot clock down to 5. We go down low to the box. It's kicked out by Douglas. Here's a corner three. Got it! And both teams are rolling. It's Randy Miller from the corner.
And they need him to knock down shots. One thing, Jim, and Spiro, last year during this game, the Eagles did not make a three-point shot. They have 2 early in this game.
What a difference a year makes. Third straight year for the Eagles in the first 4. Samuelson on a 3, no good, and then it's knocked out of bounds in the corner. And it goes back to North Carolina Central.
And one thing for the Bison, great offensively. Their numbers are there from a free throw shooting perspective. They don't commit a lot of fouls defensively, but one of the things we got to keep our eye on is offensive or defensive rebounds. This is where North Carolina Central can take advantage of this Bison team, getting shots up quickly, but then putting themselves in position, Smitty, to be able to get an offensive rebound.
You're totally right, Jim. And you look at the Bisons right now, they're going to have 5 guys get on the glass, especially to block out Rashawn Davis. This kid is relentless on the glass. Shoots 65% from the field, 7th in the nation. And you can see he got off to a good start with putting that one back in.
Davis out of Chicago, transfer from Kent State, 6th in the MEAC this season in scoring. An all-conference first team. So a good offensive start for the Eagles. Here's a three-pointer. That's Finney Shaheed, and that young man can fill it up. First points of the night.
Nice job of coming off that screen and shot ready, Jim. And a lot of young kids don't do that. He got his feet set, got his hands ready, and stayed on balance and knocked down that 3.
Well, the thing that you underestimate and people don't give enough credit to is the pass. The pass was on time, on target, so he can just step right into his shot and stroke the 3.
Miller puts it on the deck. Shot clock down to 7. Into the corner. This is Douglas in a crowd, as it was blocked by Rocky Cruiser, but then a whistle as well. So free throws coming up for the senior out of Landover, Maryland. It's on Griesel, his first.
Well, Tyson Ward out of the post, able to find his backcourt mate for an open 3. Keep in mind now, in the tournament championship, Summit League, this Bison team, 34 for 70 from behind the three-point line. So when you talk about concentrating on the three-point shot, not only the Bison, but in the Summit League, they led the country in three-point percentage. Okay, so that's a big part of their offense.
It's always interesting here at the first 4 teams that are very unfamiliar with each other. First couple of minutes of the game, just trying to get comfortable. There is David Richmond. There's the early chess match with Lavelle Moulton.
You said it best, the chess match, Jim, and you know this. You haven't seen this team, you haven't played, but I know those guys played in youth basketball a lot. But the first time the scouting report, and I used to hate scouting reports, Jim, will come out and they say he doesn't go left and he goes left. Right away, I look over at the coaches and say, hey, the scouting report was wrong.
Shaheed going to the rack. So 5 quick points for Shaheed.
I tell you what the scouting report says on him. Keep him in front. You can't allow him to get to the basket because despite his stature being shorter, he's built enough to get inside and finish.
Interesting. What an offensive start for both of these teams. Davis with a little floater.
Interesting talking to the coaching staff of the Bison. They wanted to come double Davis from the baseline, Jim. They talked about it, but they got there too late. And with him, he has a quick first step. And his athletic ability, you got to get there, I think, on the catch.
North Dakota State in the tournament for the 4th time in their history. First time since 2015. Work it outside. This is Griesel off the bounce, and the rebound cleared by Davis. There's a 3 in the transition. No good from Miller. Offensive rebound taken by Jordan Perkins.
Jim, you
shot clock resets.
Jim, you hit it right on the head. They're going to have to rebound the Bisons. They definitely going to have to box out with all 5 guys. Because right now the Eagles are crashing the offensive glass.
Miller poked away, stolen by Shaheed. Look at the handle. A little bit too much. Nearly stolen. It's kept alive. This is Tyson Ward, elite talent from that kid out of Tampa, Florida. And North Dakota State punching back.
Coming off a great game in the Summit League Championship game, 15 points, and he was 2 for 3 from the free throws, 1 for 3 from behind the three-point line. So, again, they're going to spread you out and force you to have to guard the entirety of the court, and that's when the dribble drive is available.
Ward poked it away a moment from Davis. Davis got it back and then stepped out of bounds. It's an Eagles turnover.
Tyson Ward able to spot up, leave it hanging, Smitty. Just 3, and it's free. Give me 3, baby.
Early look at the tournament summary here. Night 2 of the first 4. Last night, Fairleigh Dickinson and Belmont earning their tournament victories, both first in their program histories. And tough to see Fran Dunphy walk off a college basketball floor, perhaps for the final time. As the head coach at Temple with a very tough finish to the season.
So the Eagles coming out with a little 1-2-2 press just to kind of slow down North Dakota State.
Just under 5 minutes gone by. This is Ward, has to track it down in the corner. Underneath, this is Dengu, who's checked into the game. Told you about this deep 10-man rotation for David Richmond. Here's Gu putting it on the deck. The kid has got a lot of skills, but it is a turnover committed by the Bison.
Yeah, great hands by Davis, and he has him sealed in inside, but couldn't get him the ball. And watch a lot of pick and rolls also, too, for the Eagles, especially up top, depending on what defense the Bison choose to play.
North Carolina Central just 3 games over 500. Champions out of the MEAC Conference, Mid-Eastern Athletic. This little floater underneath by Davis, a little bit too much. They used all of that shot clock. And the basketball back to North Dakota State. Let's check in with Roz.
Guys, in that NC Central huddle, Coach Moten was talking to his team about turnovers. He spoke to Rashawn Davis, told him, don't be too finesse in there. Be powerful and decisive. And I spoke with Rashawn about getting double-teamed inside, seeing extra bodies before the game. And he told me his key to making good decisions is recognizing the double, but then being decisive without rushing. He needs to be patient.
Yeah, Rise Lavelle walked over to the table before the game. Kind of sensed a little antsy. 3rd straight year in the first 4, hoping that this is finally their year. But he was having some trouble killing time before tip.
Well, we all have different rituals, and he didn't want to be in the locker room talking to me and Jim. He wants to be out here in the gym. A former player, he just wants to smell the gym, and you can tell he's into this game.
This is Ward able to fight his way to the rack. Good interior defense by the Eagles. So 6 minutes gone by, a 1-point lead for North Carolina Central. That's a corner 3. It's no good from McKnight. Another offensive rebound. Davis off a beautiful feed from Miller.
Well, and that's why, too, if you advance the ball up quickly, you're able to spot up and get a shot up quickly. That's when the offensive rebounds now become more relevant, because you're not able to check out a body, being that you're behind in that secondary transition.
Rashawn Davis this season shot better than 64%. That was 7th best in the entire country in Division I.
Right now, the Eagles are doing a good job of keeping bodies in front of them, not giving up the 3-point shot, switching at opportune times, and this is a tough one.
Boy, that was on line.
But it looked good, Jim. I thought that was going in. It's interesting right now, Jim, for Davis. He understands where the double team is coming right now. to see how he plays this as an offensive guy, posting up, the patience he will have.
Strong attack by McKnight. And a foul underneath.
This is an offensive rebound they gave up, North Dakota State, and that pass, and there's Davis. He just dropped that one in. But, you know, in games, Jim, you know, that long shot, you still got to find a body. Everybody, but I think one thing for North Dakota State, they're so in tune to trying to double team. They're scrambling, not finding guys and putting bodies on them.
First free throw from McKnight is good, a 71% free throw shooter. Well, first round coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship begins Friday at noon on ESPN2 and the ESPN app. For more information on game times and listings, visit ncaa.com. Spiro Ditas, Steve Smith, Jim Jackson, Roz Gold on Wood A. Our producer, Bert Bondi, Mark Grant, our director, rest of our True TV crew. On this, the second night of the first four. Winner of this one advances to Columbia, South Carolina, where Zion Williamson and the Duke Blue Devils await. And the interesting thing, guys, if North Carolina Central goes, they are just 5 miles away from Cameron Indoor, 2 universities that have a very long history between them. How much fun would that be? But the Bison hoping to have something to say about it. And another corner three. That's Tyree Edey, the freshman, into the game and putting his imprint on it.
Well, one thing you got to do, if you're going to press up, Smitty, you understand this. You can't allow the ball to advance right in the middle of the court, because once you do that, that's going to sink in the defense, and those corner three-point shots are going to remain open. So you have to do a better job of funneling the basketball to the sidelines.
Jimmy talked about the Bison's three-point prowess. School record for made threes in a season, and boy, what a start for them. Julian Walters into the game, back to Miller for the three, no good, and the rebound corralled by Samuelson.
Thought that was a great defensive possession for North Dakota State. The double team scramble, being able to keep the guy in front out of the double team scramble. And this is Gu. He's pretty good one-on-one, but good defense by Davis.
Gu, born in Uganda. He's a junior. As this will be kind of a palming violation on Cameron Hunter. That three-point shooting by North Dakota State, 4 of 6 in the early going. Watch every game live on your phone, tablet, computer, and favorite streaming device with March Madness Live. Watch now, ncaa.com/March Madness, or download the app today as we welcome you back. No better venue than Dayton. Winner of this one advances to take on Mike Krzyzewski and Duke, the #1 overall seed. That game will be played in Columbia, South Carolina, just after 7 Eastern time, Friday night. A game you can see on CBS. North Carolina Central, first team to win the MEAC tournament 3 straight years since North Carolina A&T did it in the early to mid 80s. As more free throws here for the Eagles. What a run they've been on, and what a program that Lavelle Moulton guys has built. Both of these coaches are coaching their alma maters. Moulton, of course, that incredible All-American career as a player, nicknamed Poetry in Motion, such a smoothness to his game. And, of course, David Richmond with North Dakota State.
And Richmond, you think about this, his career right now is on pace to become the second coach, or second fastest coach to 100 victories. Already has over 90 right now. Good friend of mine, Tim Miles, who coached here back, I think it was 01, 02, is 4th on that list. So it just tells you that the lineage here with North Dakota State is there, and the job that Coach Richmond is doing thus far.
Miles originally hired Richmond as a graduate assistant 2003, as Samuelson and the Bison are rolling early on. 5th three-pointer for North Dakota State.
But that play is made by Edey. Drove the baseline, drew 2, and that was a beautiful bounce pass out to Samuelson and knocked down that 3.
First lead for the Bison. Shot clock here down to 7. This is Julian Walters, a senior from Madison, Wisconsin. Inside, and he is stoned. Terrific interior defense by Rocky Cruiser. Just 1 second to shoot for the Eagles.
Look at the pass. That's a nice bounce pass, on target, on time. You love those, Jim.
And the block inside by Cruiser, 1 second left. No one's playing the out-of-bounds play.
Off balance 3 in the corner. That's Reggie Gardner. And then a whistle blown on the rebounding sequence as the basketball back to North Dakota State. It's on Walters. That's his first.
And Rocky was extremely happy on that block shot, Jim. He doesn't get a lot of them. And he looked at Walters. He said, thanks for throwing that into my hand, because he didn't really jump.
Yeah, little fella.
North Dakota State, a team that broke through with their first ever NCAA tournament victory in 2015. A huge upset against Oklahoma. That shot up and in from Griesel, and he's fouled. It's on Nicholas Fennell. That's his first. And North Dakota State with a chance to extend to a 4-point lead.
Well, when you break the press, you break it by passing. Now Griesel is able to get himself in a position to absorb the contact. But once again, the ability to come down and be patient in your half-court offense, to break the press and then exploit the one-on-one opportunity. Now you have a chance to get yourself to a free throw line and get an old-fashioned three-point play.
This is the 9th best free throw shooting team in the country. And the broadcaster's jinx is
You know what I love, Jim, is the space they have because of three-point shooting. And you talk about Griesel. He doesn't look like a freshman. You can't speed him up. He is patient. And he knocked that one down. That was a fantastic pass, but Davis couldn't knock that one down in the paint. I'm surprised he didn't go up stronger.
Yeah, he was a little, I think when he caught it on the move, he was moving to his right, so he didn't have the balance to kind of explode right up and utilize that jump hook inside.
Guys, you watch both of these teams play. A lot of athleticism, a lot of big athletes on both sides, and the three-point shooting continues for North Dakota State. Even the big fella getting in on the party. Cruiser from deep.
And that's what makes it difficult when you play a team like North Dakota State, is because you have 5 capable shooters on the court, so you can't lay back, especially when they run the pick and roll. And the key is not allowing the ball to turn the corner to create those mismatches.
11 unanswered points for the Bison.
And Coach Moulton talked about that nice jump shot, that 1-5 pick and roll. He didn't want to flatten it out.
Yep.
And that time Davis was flattening it out. He wanted him to hedge and so he could turn the corner, because Rocky can flat out shoot it at that center spot.
That last basket by Jordan Perkins as we get a jump ball here. First points for the Eagles in 3.5 minutes as the possession now favors North Dakota State.
Now, the one thing the Eagles have to do, they have to talk early and often in regards to their defensive intensity. Because with a team that has multiple ball movement and ball handlers that can switch out at any spot, it's going to be tough to take everything away. But you do want to put pressure early in the shot clock to force the Bison to maybe step out a little bit further, Steve, in their offensive sets.
This is Cameron Hunter. That's a deep three. And the rebound corralled inside by the big bad Rashawn Davis. So just under the 9-minute mark, guys. What have you seen so far?
Well, I think at the beginning, North Dakota State was having problems with Davis down on the block. They've solved that. And I think right now, dribble penetration, whether it's off the break in transition or in half court, is really giving the Eagles problems, giving up a lot of open threes.
Here's the kick out three-pointer from Jordan Horn, a little bit too much. And so the Bison have cooled off just a bit here. And we hit the 8.5-minute mark left here before halftime. A dribble drive, beautiful setup. Davis, the recipient, as Jordan Perkins dropping a dime.
And that's that secondary break, the quick pick and roll in the middle, tougher to guard. That time Perkins able to maintain his dribble, and smartly Davis just dove right to the middle of the basket.
Quick answer at the other end, and a chance at a three-point play as North Dakota State going to Hunter, and the sophomore, the kid from Kansas, able to draw contact and finish.
That 1-5 pick and roll, they gave up a three-point shot, and you can see Davis. He's not hedging at all, Jim, and him and Coach Moulton is having a conversation. This time he was so quick to get back to Rocky because he didn't want to give up a three. Left the lane wide open and an opportunity for a three-point play.
Hunter was so huge in that Summit League final against Omaha. Off the bench, 12 points in that game, hit all 3 of his threes. And one of the big reasons why the Bison are here in Dayton. Hunter will sit, and Vinny Shaheed back into the game for North Dakota State.
And it's always good to have a backup like Hunter, a former Summit League newcomer of the year, that when you substitute, especially from your leader, you can't have a fall off. And he can shoot the basketball. Also, he's a very accurate and pinpoint passer, so you don't lose much when Shaheed goes to the bench.
Shot clock at 13 here. Miller puts it on the deck, gets it back after he bobbled it in a crowd, and terrific interior defense by North Dakota State.
And particularly Tyson Ward did a nice job of accepting that drive, bodying up, and then able to gather himself and get the defensive rebound for North Dakota State.
Here's Shaheed, the drive and kick. Samuelson. He is a deadly three-point shooter. The Bison have hit 6 of their last 8, and they are carving them up from deep. 8-point lead.
And welcome back. And North Dakota State living up true to build an offensive side right now. 7 for 11 behind the three-point line. But keep in mind, it's all about the spacing and the passing of the basketball. On point, on time, on target. Think about it. 6 assists on 10 made field goals. It makes shooting three-point shots a heck of a lot easier.
And Jim, Coach Richmond has to love this. He has 6 players that shoot over 35% and 3 that shoot over 41%.
Let it go, man. Let it go.
I wish I had some eligibility. I would love to shoot this much.
What?
Smitty, I think you fit in right in with this team. 7 of their 10 field goals have come from 3. That is 17-4 run for the Bison over the last 5 minutes and change. Can North Carolina Central answer here after that hot shooting start? That's a three-pointer. It rims out from Larry McKnight Jr. And right now they have been one and done. Bison guys doing a better job on the defensive glass.
Yeah, but one thing North Carolina Central can't do, they can't fall in love with the three-point shot, because now you see a missed layup inside by Ward. You're playing into the hands of the Bison. Your strength is being able to get the ball to the basket like this in transition or get it down to Davis. Go back to being who you are, not settling.
This is Miller from 3. Got it.
Never mind. Shut up, Jimmy.
Randy looked over here too, Jim. He said, I think he heard you.
I did think he heard it.
But Jim is totally correct. I think one thing is they will not be able to outshoot North Dakota State. They have to play to their principles, which is drive the basketball and create some contact.
Eagles had missed 10 of their previous 10 before that last 3. Tough floater on the run from Griesel, misses everything. Up the floor, Douglas running the floor.
Boy, is that good basketball, and it starts off with Perkins. Great defense on this end, and then the outlet and throw ahead.
Again, you have to figure out ways when you struggle sometimes in your offensive sets to manufacture baskets, whether that's offensive rebounds or, like we just saw in that last possession, quick transition baskets before the defense can get set.
This is Vinny Shaheed, the junior Minneapolis kid. Shot clock down to 6. Steps into it 3. Off to the left. Offensive rebound. Griesel, and the timer resets. There's Shaheed. Excellent defense from Perkins. And that is Ward underneath. And he'll shoot free throws.
A beautiful read that time by Ward, because the pressure release package is to get back door, see if you can get fouled. But on the last possession, Douglas down the lane, easy 2. North Carolina Central making a run.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by the uncompromising Cadillac SUVs. State Farm, here to help life go right. And by Lowe's.
Staten Island's 4 Funnies friends are back. Watch a new episode of Impractical Jokers March the 28th right here on True TV as we welcome you back. Dayton Arena, basketball heartland, just the perfect launching off point. And since this thing started, the first 2011, there has been at least one team to go on to win at least one game in the first round of the tournament. Moving on from here. Last year, of course, it was Syracuse. It's a shocking victory in Detroit against Tom Izzo and Michigan State. Ended up eventually losing to Duke in the Sweet 16, but could perhaps one of these 2 teams be continuing their dream.
Jimmy, I really like Tyson Ward. You know, there are some players you just watch that just knows how to play. You can put him in any position, whether he's on the ball, off the ball, high basketball IQ. Watch him in their tournament championship. He just knows how to play, and they post him up a little bit. They don't really have a post player from the 5 position, but he posts up from the wing position.
Yeah, great slasher, and you see the foul right here on Samuelson. But one thing Ward does really well, he reads and reacts to the defense, because you have shooters that spread it out like the backdoor cut. Instead of standing and watching, he utilizes the space to get open, catch, and now he's able with his athleticism to finish inside.
Foul charge to Samuelson, his first. Boy, Miller trying to force the issue, getting right to the rack. And a hard-earned 2 points to cut it to 3.
Yeah, the MEAC Tournament Championship, Jim Spiro, he only had 2 points. He's come out today making his mark, getting on the board, scoring the basketball at a high clip. He has 8 points already.
Transfer out of Mount St. Mary's. Sat out last year after the transfer, but this year has really emerged for Lavelle Moten. Senior season, the kid out of Maryland. Shot clock down to 5. Where Cruiser finally recognizes, and then the deflection is tracked down by Zachary Douglas.
If you're Moten, you have to like that defensive possession. They played the pick and roll exceptionally well, then got a chance to stay body on body, didn't get backdoored, and then finished with a defensive rebound.
Here comes the kid Ward. Beautifully done with his left hand on a scoop.
Oh, right on time. Again, the pressure up front. You beat pressure by attacking. At that time, Ward with this left hand. Again, because the court was spread, the help couldn't come in time. Ward had an easy pass once he got by his guy to get to the basket.
Three-pointer from Miller. Offensive rebound by Douglas, and the senior to the free throw line. You know, Smitty, you mentioned Tyson Ward. The fact that a program like North Dakota State was able to get a kid of his talent really speaks to where this program has come, how far it's come the last couple of years. Mullen as he and St. John's arriving here moments ago. And that'll be the nightcap. St. John's and Arizona State with the winner advancing to take on Buffalo. Of course, all the storylines. Bobby Hurley, the former head coach of the Buffaloes. What a story that would be.
Spiro, you saw Mullen walking in, right? That's the speed he played at. He still gave you 25 to 30,
No,
which is crazy.
no,
Seriously, Jim, isn't it?
Until he came off those screens.
Yes, but
That's when he was faster.
He would just lull you to sleep, walking around like there was nothing going on. Didn't need but a couple dribbles, and it was buckets.
Reminder to stay tuned. AT&T at the half comes your way next. Casey Stern, Seth Davis, Brendan Haywood, and Candace Parker will be live from Atlanta with analysis of this first half. And the Buffalo Bulls, I should say, the program that Bobby Hurley has watched continue the success that he began a couple of years ago. And we'll see what Hurley and the Sun Devils are able to do here later tonight against the Johnnies. So a 3-point lead for North Dakota State with under 4 minutes to play before halftime. 8 to shoot, beautifully done. That's Cameron Hunter, the sophomore, going right through the teeth of the Eagles defense.
Yeah, but it was the patient that time. He allowed the lane to open up, and Hunter, right at the last minute, as soon as he saw the gap, he exploded right into the middle.
North Carolina Central in the first 4 for the 3rd straight year. They've yet to break through here. That is Douglas dialing up to 3.
A great read by Douglas. His defender was laying off, getting ready to double team Davis, and he just sprinted to the 3-point line, got his feet set, and knocked it down.
On to the 3-minute mark now left before first half comes to an end. Bison's lead down to 2. This is Hunter. Now to Edey, hit a 3 early off the bench. Shot clock down to 4. Ward pulls up from deep. A whistle blown. This will be against the Eagles underneath. David Richmond will reinsert Vinny Shaheed, his most dangerous offensive threat, and Sam Griesel, foul charge to Rashawn Davis, his second.
Well, you have to keep in mind, this North Carolina Central team led the MEAC in regards to defensive points allowed, only 66 points a game. So it tells you right now what the Bisons are doing offensively, already with 34 points, about 2.5 minutes left in the first half.
McKnight trying to draw the charge, no contact. Davis, as the Bison turn it over. Look at Davis running the floor, so athletic in the open floor. The senior, 6'8", 240 pounds. Looks like he's shaken up here as he readies himself to shoot a couple of free throws. It's on Hunter, his first.
I was impressed, Jim, that he got the basketball and was comfortable dribbling. Gave it up to his guard, and his guard had confidence to give it up to him early. You usually don't want to give it to a big that early, but He was able to catch it in stride and draw this foul.
Yeah, that was a lot of trust right there with your post player running full stride in transition. I think it was Miller who gave it right back to him, trusting that Davis would make the right play.
We asked Lavelle Moulton about the Davis progression the last couple of years, and he told us the kid's kind of a late bloomer. He's still learning to deal with all the attention, the double teams that he's seen this season, as his game guys really has come together. Looks like he took a shot to the face here from Hunter right there.
He did.
Well, I think one of the challenges, too, and you see the poke right here that Coach Moulton talked to Steve and I and you about yesterday, was feeling comfortable when the double team comes. If you haven't had that happen to you before, you kind of rush a little bit. But once you get more comfortable, now you bait the double team to come, and then you begin to make more plays out of it. And that enhances the offense, but it also opens up opportunities for your teammates.
Hey, Jim, me and Spiro got a chance to watch him last year, and they lost to Texas Southern. But he was 9 for 11. He had 19 points, 11 rebounds. He's so consistent. He's played 68 games in his career. He's been in double digits 57 times. You got to love that if you're from Lavelle Moulton as a coaching staff.
Oh, yeah.
Davis will get a blow here. Still trying to shake the cobwebs, but a well-played first half of the senior out of Chicago. 10 points and 5 rebounds. As we are all tied at 34. Which of these two teams will continue their dream to Columbia, South Carolina, where Zion Williamson and the Blue Devils await?
They love to post Ward on this short corner.
This is Ward going to that drop step. Well played defensively, but Ward just too much talent.
I tell you, Douglas did a great job. He walled straight up, but Ward was patient enough to get to the baseline. And again, he knew that if he spun to the baseline, he would have room to operate and showing off that soft touch with a little jump hook inside.
Jim, you were a post-up guard, and I don't understand why more wing guys don't do it, because you're comfortable handling the basketball. You can see, you can pass out of it. And I love that they put the wing guy down on the block and he makes plays.
Some teams do it. Some just prefer to stand on the perimeter.
McKnight, shot clock down to 3. That's a long 2, and a rebound taken by Dangu. And North Dakota State in control, 90 seconds left with a 2-point lead. The Bison back in the NCAA tournament. 4th time in their history, 1st time since 2015.
That's a nice
magical play by Griesel.
He's a freshman? It doesn't look like it, Jim, at all.
Hold up, but listen, I heard you. When he had the 3-point shot, you said he thought he was going to let it go. But how about him feeling more comfortable to say, you know what, I'm not going to take the 3 right now, time to score. I'm going to put my head down and get it to the basket. So that's a heady play from a freshman.
You're totally right, Jim, because I would have shot that one. He was
Pass intended for McKnight. Not that.
And Jim, you would have shot it as well.
Yeah, I would shot it as well. But here's the patient. A little miscommunication that time on defense, and then the back line was late rotating over. And you're talking about a building block moving forward for Coach Richmond. And you said it before. This is just a freshman.
David Richmond says he's our glue guy. Kid who does a little bit of everything. Corner 3. Off target from Miller. Look at Ward. Open floor. Contact, the body control. Incredible. 11 points for the junior out of Tampa.
A blink of an eye. You're talking about a 6-0 run in the last minute and 36 seconds. And if you're Coach Moulton, you thought you could get out of this half without having Rashawn Davis pick up his 3rd. You want to finish halves on a positive note, and so far, North Dakota State is doing that.
So the run by the Bison, 6 straight points. Here's Perkins, the sophomore out of Greensboro, North Carolina. Errant pass deflected. McKnight saves. 3 to shoot. Perkins, that's a 3. Too much. 3 seconds on the clock. Ward recognizes. Here he comes. The junior on a runner. And that takes us to halftime here at Dayton. North Dakota State using that 3-point prowess, and then Tyson Ward leading the charge as they end the half with 6 unanswered points. And will take a lead of a half dozen into the halftime locker room.
Well, I love the way North Dakota State ended that half, Jim. It was all smalls out there, but the penetration and the drives was fantastic.
Rise standing by with David Richmond.
Coach, when Davis was getting the ball, you guys were crowding him. How have you liked the execution of that defensive game plan so far?
Yeah, it's been good. We just got to be smart. When he's too far out of an operating area, we can't go get him out there. It just creates too much space for them.
Right, and what's going to be key for you guys to keep them off the offensive glass, especially when you're scrambling and rotating out of that?
We all just got to be participants on the glass and taking some threes, some long shots, some long rebounds. We just got to stay in the play and finish possessions.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Guys.
All right, Rise, David Richmond's bunch shooting 57% overall in that first half. We're 7 of 14 from downtown. We'll send you to our Atlanta studios for AT&T at the half right after this. Halftime continues here in Dayton. The hot shooting Bison from North Dakota State hoping to continue their dream to the first round as the winner of this one advances to take on Duke. And you'll never look at firefighters the same way again. Watch Tacoma FD, a new comedy from two of the stars of Super Troopers, March the 28th, right here on True TV. Which of these two teams will win and advance? The second half is next.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Sherwin-Williams. Painting questions? Ask Sherwin-Williams. Allstate. Are you in good hands? And by Uber Eats. Bracket busted in round one? Let's eat.
Just about ready for the final 20 minutes. Which of these two teams will advance? 6-point lead at the break for North Dakota State. As we welcome you back courtside, Spiro Adidas, Steve Smith, Jim Jackson. We'll hear from Rise in a moment. 3-point shooting for the Bison, the story, and Tyson Ward Smitty starting to introduce himself to America on the national stage.
You're so right, Spiro. Jim, what I love about him, he has a high basketball IQ, is a great field, and we see in his first half he was fantastic, patient. Defense is back. He knocks down this three. He was 1 for 2. But this is where he's so good, being able to handle the basketball with pressure and drive it. And then you don't have a lot of guys that can do both, play with the basketball and without. First half, he was 4-7, has 11 points, averages about 12. We talked to Coach Richmond. I said, I want him to be more aggressive. He said he lets the game come to him. Well, you know what? Coach Richmond, give the basketball to Tyson Ward a little bit more, let him play.
Our first half stats brought to you by Degree. Jimmy, what stands out?
Well, right here for North Central, right there, North Carolina Central. 4 for 13 from behind the three-point line. The strength of this team is getting 2-point passes where they shoot 53%. Behind the three-point line, they only shoot 32% on the season. So 13 of their 28 attempts came from behind the three-point line. Smitty and I talked about it. Get back to doing what you do well, which is drive the basketball.
Hey guys, this is interesting. The halftime lead for David Richmond and the Bison has not exactly led to victories and has made them comfortable this year. Most losses when leading at halftime of any team in the field this season. How do they handle prosperity here at the first four in Dayton? North Carolina Central, the champions out of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. This will be an offensive foul against Larry McKnight Jr. That's his first. And an early turnover by Lavelle Moulton's Eagles. Let's go to Rise.
Guys, at halftime, I spoke with Coach Moulton. He told me the game plan was take away the three, let them take contested twos. But it's been tough on their big man, especially Davis, and especially, as you guys pointed out, in the pick and roll. He's used to being inside and cleaning up, but he's being pulled out to defend a shooting stretch post. So I asked Coach, will you keep him in that position or will you try to protect him? He said his guards need to be tough and get over those screens and stop putting Davis in tough positions.
All right, Rise, thanks. Samuelson's three, no good. So fascinating to see these two coaches in the chess match, two teams that are so unfamiliar with each other, as we get an offensive foul and the second quick one against the Eagles. This time it's against Randy Miller, and that's his first.
Well, 2 possessions defensively by the Bisons. One, you got to be in position early to be able to accept to take the charge. Instead of being married to your man on the weak side, Ward was right there to step in. Now, you talk about defensive adjustments by North Carolina Central. One thing you have to do that's very imperative, you got to put pressure on the passer. Because if you have too much leeway to move the basketball, that's what the Bison have been able to exploit to get those 3-point shots.
North Dakota State making the trek from Fargo, North Dakota. Finished his 3 games over 500. Beautiful cut and a foul. as Griesel with a chance at 3.
That's just understanding how to play basketball, Jim. Nowhere to go, and you can see the freshman cut without the basketball. You don't just want to stand, and gave his teammate an outlet, and the Eagles were all mixed up. And not only that, the freshman, he finished through contact. I love that play.
Yeah, there, Knight didn't know where to go coming out of that double team. Heads up by Ward to see his cutting teammate.
Griesel, the freshman, the crown jewel of David Richmond's incoming class, originally committed to South Dakota State, then decommitted when Craig Smith left for the Utah State job. Boy, what a get he's been for Richmond and North Dakota State. And suddenly their lead is at 9. And they've scored 9 straight going back to the first half. It's a long two-pointer from Perkins, no good. And right now the Eagles offense guys are sputtering.
Yeah, and they talked about it in the studio, Candace, and also with Brendan Haywood, the way to get Davis to basketball. And Candace said he has to get on the offensive glass, and totally agree. And Brendan Haywood said not a straight post-up. Try to get him on the offside, setting the screen and roll, and reverse the basketball.
Miller, boy, would not be denied. First points for North Carolina Central in nearly 4.5 minutes.
Well, transition basketball, you get a defensive stop that you want, you finish it by getting a rebound. Now you're able to get out, use your quickness in transition to score a basket.
Here's Ward playing with such confidence tonight. Fights his way across the paint. That's a traveling violation. One of the few mistakes that the junior has made tonight. Another look at the Miller drive and finish.
That's a nice crossover by Miller, being able to finish over the big Rocky, and he did not want to foul to pick up his 3rd. Good move by Miller.
Told you about North Carolina Central. They are here at the first 4 for a 3rd straight year. 0-2 on their first 2 trips. Hoping for better fortunes tonight. That is their 3rd turnover already. Less than 3 minutes, guys, into the second half.
Jim, I like that play, though. That was a pick and roll with a lot of movement to get Davis on the run. So North Dakota State can't set up and just collapse on him on double teams with the straight post up.
And one of the weaknesses for this Eagles teams, you see Ward just open for a 3-point shot, not contesting, is turning the basketball over 15 times a game. They already have 6, and a lot of them are coming unforced turnovers, so you got to make sure you keep an eye on that.
Ward had 5 20-point games this season, really starting to come into his own. And turnover number 4 as the Eagles right now throwing it all over the gym. They had 3 turnovers the entire first half. They've got 4 in less than 3 minutes of the second half.
North Dakota State up 10, and let's watch this possession defensively for the Eagles. Let's come around and you can see the basketball, and Sam saying let's freeze it right here. You look at the 2 defenders right here, 1 and 2. No communication, Jim and Spiro, and then the basketball is swung to Tyson Ward, and he has an open shot. And look at the follow through. My colleague Dennis Scott would say, leave it, and Tyson Ward knocks that one down.
What a stroke, what a game that young man is putting together. Largest lead of the night, if you've just joined us, from North Dakota State, the champions out of the Summit League. Hoping to advance where the Duke Blue Devils await. This will be a traveling violation against Rocky Cruiser.
And guys, you can tell a well-coached team, because rarely have we talked about that's a tough or bad shot by the Bison. I mean, the ball move, when you're open, you cut, you pass, you screen, and you end up getting a shot. And that's why they shoot such a high percentage from behind the arc, is because they get high-quality shots.
Here's a corner 3. That is Perkins, rims out, and the rebound by Cruiser. Both of these 2 coaches, 2 of the most respected in the mid-conference teams. Boy, Tyson Ward, my goodness. Give him some points for the attempt.
I'm impressed with both players, Ward and Davis, Jim. They met at the Summit, and Davis got that one.
Shaheed, it goes, and a chance at 3.
Okay, Benny, don't bounce on him. I mean, Jim, you know, I get excited when guys go up to go get it. Look at
Talk
Ward.
to me.
He measured him up and said, Davis said, no, not this time. Wow, and then Vinny using his strength, being able to square up, get his shoulders turned, use his strength and lay this one up and gave us a little bounce afterwards. And North Dakota State is having their way right now with the Eagles.
3-point play by Vinny Shaheed, the junior, newcomer of the year in the Summit League. JUCO transfer from Western Nebraska Community College. Took the Summit League by storm, and now it's a 15-2 run for the Bison. Davis Had it poked away by Cruiser. We'll get a timeout. Largest lead of the night for North Dakota State in command. Well, there will be a new king in the East. Bleacher Report's original animated series, Game of Zones, returns for season 6 Thursday, April the 11th. You can watch it on the BR app. Back with you at Dayton, there's Lavelle Moten, 0-3 all-time in the NCAA tournament. The 1996 graduate of North Carolina Central. Guys hoping to finally break through, but right now they're down 13. What can the Eagles do?
Well, I look at it from the Eagles. They got to get the ball in the paint, and I know they want to go to Rashad Davis, but I think others off the bounce got to have some penetration. Even on these shots in the second half, they got some wide open shots. Because there's no movement, everybody's able to box out from North Dakota State. And for me, Jim, somebody has to be able to penetrate, beat their guy, get the basketball up to the rim. But right now they're playing in the hands of North Dakota State, just trying to lob it over the top to Rashad Davis.
Well, I like right here. Right now that's 9 for 11 from the free throw line. Get yourself to the free throw line. The team shoots 71%. Also defensively, see if you can get some deflections, get out in transition. They already have 8 points in transition. So those are other ways outside of not being able to operate efficiently in your half-court sets that you can score. But more importantly, Steve, as you know, you've got to get multiple defensive stops.
What about on the other side? Let's check in with Roz.
Guys, in Coach Richmond's timeout, he commanded his team's focus with eye contact and repetition. He looked each guy in the face and in the eyes, and I saw each player looking him right back in the eyes. He said, stay solid. You don't love it, don't pass it. He said, rebound the ball 5 times to every single player. And then he took a pause and then said, poise and rebound, poise and rebound. He wants no let up.
That is Douglas on a 3. And Roz, we spoke to Richmond yesterday. There was such a laser focus about the 40-year-old head coach. It was only 40, guys, 5 years into the job since taking over after the departure of Saul Phillips. Hoping to rally his troops, and they are certainly not out of the woods just yet. Shot by Cruiser won't go, and back come the Eagles.
Last possession by the Eagles, Jim, I loved it. The basketball moved from side to side. They broke out the defense on the drive and got a wide open shot because of the unbalanced defense.
Here is Miller. A little twirl and floater, 7 straight. And here comes North Carolina Central.
Well, 2 defensive stops allowed Central to get out in transition, but also then get quickly into their offense and be able to get some high-quality shots.
Ward the drive and kick. Samuelson, the little head fake. Boy, rare miss from the deadly 3-point shooter. Perkins resets. Now to McKnight with just under 6 minutes gone by. Second half here at Dayton, with the winner at this one advancing to Columbia, South Carolina to take on Mike Krzyzewski and Duke. Perkins, 6 to shoot. This is Douglas on a step back. Davis getting his hands dirty. A little bit of contact, fight for the loose ball. Look at Davis again. 9 straight points.
I love it, Jim. I love it, Sparrow. I'm excited. You get on the glass like that, go get it.
Now, welcome back. North Carolina Central making a comeback, and it's all because of the effort on the defense end, but more importantly, Rashad Davis not giving up on the offensive boards. If I can't get it once, give it to me twice. One more time inside, no. Now he finishes inside, and Steve, you talked about his prowess inside. Okay, his ability to carve out space and then not give up. Not only is he scoring the basketball, but he's opening up opportunities. When you help too much, that gives you driving lanes if you're his teammates. But you saw the work ethic right there on the offensive glass, and it paid off.
Yes, it did. And Candace Parker talked about in the studio that he had to get on the offensive glass. He has 12 rebounds, and he's doing that. And sometimes as an offensive player, you want it on the post. He's not getting it. You got to find other ways to help your team win ball games.
Vinny Shaheed able to draw contact, so already a double-double. So that came before the shot, so an underneath out of bounds for the Bison. With 20 seconds to shoot, 13 and change remaining. North Dakota State seeing their 13-point lead whittled down to 4. Masterful footwork on the play by Dengu going glass.
Spiro, you said it best. I mean, that footwork, he was dancing down there on the block.
First points for North Dakota State, guys, in nearly 3 minutes. See what Gu has done off the bench this season for David Richmond. There's a dribble drive by Miller. Boy, and suddenly the Eagles guys have figured something out. A lot more aggressive here since that last time out.
Well, it's a deep post up right there. Then the ability to create off the bounce but maintain his pivot foot. Goo right there showing the patience, but also a nice little touch off the glass inside on the finish.
Told you about Dengu, born in Uganda, moved to Fargo with his family at the age of 6. Initially settling in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Former high school player of the year in that state. Oh, Coke is introducing delicious orange vanilla Coke and orange vanilla Coke Zero. Yeah, you heard that right. Early stages of March Madness. So excited to have you with us. UD Arena here in Dayton. Basketball heartland, the perfect launching off point for this tournament. Second free throw from Miller is no good. And North Carolina Central down 5 as we move past the 13-minute mark.
That was a great substitution by Moten, giving Davis just a little breather. He was asking to come out, and that look, Moten got him out, and obviously you got to get your best player back in, but you want to give him a little break.
Who got a little bit caught with his feet that time. This is Hunter. Shot clock down to 4. Hunter off balance. Well played on the interior by North Carolina Central.
Great defense that time by Douglas.
That's Jabri Blunt. First time we've seen him tonight get his name called. Hasn't played much. He's their leading scorer off the bench. Offensive foul, second of the half against Miller.
How about the anticipation that time by Jared Samuelson? This is the third charge we've seen where off of a drive, a Bison defender has been able to anticipate exactly where the offensive player was going, cut it off, absorb the contact, and take the charge.
And Jim, you know this, as a defender, if a guy doesn't show his eyes at the basket, you're just waiting for the drive, and you're going on the scouting report. That's why young guys show eyes, show the ball fake, show something where the defender has to pause for just a second.
Shot clock at 10. Here comes Griesel. The freshman finding the box too much. Offensive rebound. Goose. Shot clock didn't reset. It didn't get the rim as it's knocked out of bounds, and it belongs back to the Eagles when we come back. North Dakota State up by as many as 13, but a 10-2 run for Central. Well, you see what Tyson Ward has done. Game high 14 points. He has been the star, but they were looking at that, looks like middle finger on his left hand after that dunk attempt, guys, earlier in the half against Rashawn Davis. You see him kind of nick the rim after that play, possibly where the finger was hurt, as we check in with Roz.
Well, I have an update from the NDSU bench, and he is available to play and ready to go.
Great update.
All right, Roz, so good. Short and sweet. That's how we like
to hear
it. Good news for the Bison. There's a Ward right now on the bench, hoping that North Dakota State can protect this lead. It was up at 13 if you've just joined us. But, guys, their shooting has escaped them here since the intermission. They shot 57% in the first half. In the second half, they're just 4 of 12. As, right now, David Richmond hoping for some offensive answers.
You saw that possession, a nice screen and roll, throw back. That's a nice drive, and there's Davis all over the offensive glass.
Davis is 4th offensive rebound of the night, 13th overall. And free throws here for the Eagles. 11 offensive rebound guys for North Carolina Central.
Well, the dribble penetration, as you know, will suck in the defense, and now you take a body off of Davis trying to, or attempting to block the shot. Now Davis able to sneak on the baseline, follow the offensive shot, and get the rebound.
So here is Davis, a 69% free throw shooter, and it is a 4-point game. We'll play the official bracket game of March Madness. The Capital One NCAA March Madness Bracket Challenge is ready for your picks. So get your bracket started now at ncaa.com or in the March Madness Live app. Spiro Ditas, Steve Smith, Jim Jackson, Roz Gold on Wood A. Our producer, Bert Bondy, Mark Grant, our director. The rest of our True TV crew on night 2 here at the First Four in Dayton. North Dakota State making the trek from Fargo, North Dakota, champions of the Summit League. And North Carolina Central, a team at the First Four for a 3rd straight year, hoping to break through for the first time. The winner advances to take on Duke. Here's Vinny Shaheed. Into the paint. Underneath, off balance, beautiful floater by Edey. Badly needed bucket for the Bison.
Yeah, nice patience by Vinny. And Jim, the 1-5 pick and roll now with Goo is totally different with Rocky because he's diving and that's not giving him enough space to have dribble penetration. But even though without that penetration, they still mustered up a nice bucket on that one.
Perkins gets it reset to Miller. Trying to fend off his man. Well played by Samuelson. And here comes Cameron Hunter. In the open floor, Hunter dropping a dime, and Goo is swallowed up. Boy, appeared to be a clean block, but Goo may have gotten bumped on the body. Free throws for North Dakota State. It's on Douglas.
But what about the heads up? Hunter all the way down the court allowed Goo to clear space. Okay, run to the rim, and now I'm open. I'm able to get inside the lane. I'm going to draw the defender, and once I do that, Goo positioned perfectly underneath the rim.
Thought that was a pretty good block, Jim, by Douglas. Maybe down low was the body, Spiro, but I didn't see it. You know, my eyes are getting a little old. I will say, nice pass, nice possession.
Goo has really become kind of a polished low-post player. He's become a U.S. citizen. I told you after moving to the U.S. at the age of 6 from Uganda with his family. And what a career he's putting together for himself. Open Fargo. There's an attack by McKnight. It's a 4-point game, and Larry McKnight, the senior out of North Miami, now at 7.
Smitty, I believe you know Coach Moten. I think he told him in the timeout, drive the basketball, because right now, that's been the central component. You see a nice shot and drive itself by Edey, but the Eagles have been able, off a ball reversal, to attack immediately and get themselves inside the lane.
And you look at Larry McKnight Jr., Jim, 6'4", 235. You talked about North Dakota State doing an excellent job stepping in, taking charges. No one stepped in the way of Larry McKnight Jr. on that one. He is put together.
Young man's got a lot of girth. Here's Davis. Shot clock at 6. Davis bobbles it for a moment. Well played by Goo. How about that pass from Davis? Out to Miller. Splash.
Jim, that's a beautiful pass by Davis. I mean, rolling on the ground to be able to pick it up and have the strength to kick it out that far to the three-point line.
How about Davis maintaining the spacing instead of trying to dive?
Vinny Shaheed right down Broadway.
Coach Richmond talked about it. He said that kid has the it factor. You know, I was so impressed. You talk about leaderships and being a captain. He was on campus in June, and by August, they named him captain. He hadn't even played a game, Jim.
Hey, some guys, you just know when you talk to them, you're around them, that they just know how to galvanize a team, and Shaheed has proven that on and, more importantly, off the court.
Douglas in a crowd. Incredible. How did he put that down? Put the perfect English on it. And North Carolina Central within 3, 14 for Douglas.
Well, this is a fantastic play game, Jim and Spiro. These are two talented teams, fundamentally sound, well coached. We haven't talked about a lot of plays that's just been empty possessions. They've missed some shots, but they have been great execution on the offensive end.
Giving these fans their money's worth. Is terrific basketball city as Shaheed lost his footing. And here come the Eagles. They can cut it to 1 or tie with a 3. Right on Kill McKnight, and we are tied. It's a 22-9 run for North Carolina Central. This is Goo from deep.
You talk about Larry McKnight Jr. only hit 12 threes last year, 30 this year, and that's a great deep post.
Davis basket will not count. Boy, had terrific body position underneath as the foul came on the catch. First lead for the Eagles since the 12:48 mark of the first half. We're tied in Dayton. So far, this is the pass of the night. Rashawn Davis from his back on target finds Randy Miller. And North Carolina Central down by as many as 13 has tied it with 7 and change remaining.
You said it best, Spiro. On target. I mean, on laying on your back, Jim, to be able to put it right in the shot pocket of Miller, who's knocked down the 3. He's 3 of 8. It's a big-time play.
And the Eagles doing a great job of getting to the line, +7 at the free throw line. So when you look at how do you get back in the game, you can definitely point to that stat.
The Eagles 8 of 15 shooting since the intermission. As McKnight trying to put it up in the crowd, and he's called for a bump here, and that will put North Dakota State guys in the 1-and-1 here with still a lot of time left, 7:18, and that could be a big turning point with North Dakota State, one of the top 10 free throw shooting teams in the country.
Yeah, shooting 77%. Now, keep in mind, if you're North Dakota State, what you want to do is continue to put pressure on North Carolina Central. What I mean by that, because you're in the penalty, don't settle. Now, initiate some contact. See if the officials will call those fouls. Now that gets you back to the free throw line.
David Richmond, born in Wahpeton, North Dakota, grew up a lifelong fan of the Bison. Attended the school, coaching his alma mater, as is his counterpart tonight, Lavelle Moulton. His two teams and coaches and their staffs have worked so hard to get here. Which school will keep its dream going?
Look at offensive execution right now, Jim. It will definitely change for North Dakota State because of this kid right here, Rocky, who can shoot the basketball from 3. Watch the 1-5 pick and roll. They'll have more driving lanes, and the paint will be wide open.
A little 1-3-1 zone right here, switched over by Coach Richmond.
Cruiser's free throw makes it a 1-point game. This is a corner 3 by McKnight. First lead for Central since the 12:48 mark of the first half. A 13-point lead for the Bison evaporates. Shaheed able to follow his own miss. Shot clock does reset.
Love the Eagles on that offensive rebound. Did you see them sprint out, Jim, to the 3-point shooters?
That's right.
Coach Moulton has been on them saying we can't give up open looks.
Told you about North Dakota State. 8 losses this season when leading at halftime. A whistle blown and a 1-and-1 now for the Eagles.
Well, the cross-court pass. A lot of coaches will tell you all the time, we can't recover in the zone. That pass has to go 1 and then 2 to the corner. Once it gets over the top, that baseline player can't recover quick enough to contest that shot.
So the Eagles in the penalty, and now 1-and-1 for both teams. Vinny Shaheed, 84% free throw shooter. Really no weak foul shooters on either of these teams. So 6:32 to play. And North Dakota State with its captain at the stripe. Told you about the Bison. Started the season 2-7, a month into the year. Left for dead by so many in the Summit League. South Dakota State, the 1 seed in the conference tournament, shot by Western Illinois. North Dakota State wasn't supposed to be here, but they're 6 and change away potentially from moving on to take on Duke, but not if Central has something to say about it.
I mean, you can't get a double team that quick, Jim, when he gets that type of post position. Rocky has to do his work early. You can't let him get that deep. A great hedge right there by Rashawn Davis on that 1-5 pick and roll.
Shaheed coughs it up, then Cruiser on his back. Eagles trying to tie him up. They do, and the possession arrow favors the Bison. Rashawn Davis, guys, now 18 points, 14 rebounds. He, of course, had the monster performance in the loss last year here at the First Four. That young man likes playing in Dayton.
Well, but it was an excellent drawn-up play to get Davis deep post position. You have multiple movements up top, and then able to seal inside to get that nice hard-earned 2.
Shot clock down to 7. Shaheed probes the defense. Here he comes. Well played. A little bit of contact. But Perkins was all over him. Here's Douglas. Wants to take Cruiser. Beautiful drop. Cruiser got a piece. Boy, Ward unable to save. What an effort by the junior. 18 seconds to shoot. We'll see what the officials do here. If they give him possession on the tip-in or save attempt.
Jim, I thought on that possession, if Davis would have ran the court, Douglas would have had a different type of look defensively. Rocky didn't ever leave the paint. He might have got on the weak side, like you said, and got that offensive rebound.
Shot clock at 18 seconds. Eagles have hit 6 of their last 7 shots. Saw Shaheed take a seat for the Bison. Open three, McKnight catching fire.
And I'm going to tell you something, guys. That play was a result of Rashawn Davis, see the foul there, diving to the basket hard. That opened up the cross-court pass to McKnight, spotted up behind the three-point line. That's the value of having. Watch Davis as he dives down the lane right there. Opens it up for the cross-court pass because Davis attracts so much attention. Again, the cross-court pass that hurt the Eagles that time just bit the Bisons.
And Larry McKnight now has scored 9 of North Carolina Central's last 11 points. First free throw by Hunter is good. They'll stream live sports on BR Live. Watch the UEFA Champions League, NBA League Pass, Alliance of American Football, and more. Live over everything. Couple of free throws by Hunter. Boy, what a well-played game between these two teams. Summit League meeting the MEAC, with the winner advancing to Columbia to take on Duke.
Much better movement by the Eagles in this second half with their offense. A lot of pick and rolls with Davis to be able to get a chance to let him duck in on the weak side.
Tyson Ward back in for North Dakota State. They leave Perkins open. That's a three. We're in a rare miss for the Eagles during this hot shooting stretch. Under 5 minutes left here in Dayton. And these fans on both sides starting to get a little nervous. Hunter into the corner. This is Ward. Ward puts it on the deck, wants to take Davis. A little fake. Masterfully done to earn contact. He got Davis to bite. And the junior out of Tampa, Florida, Tyson Ward, will shoot a couple.
Smitty, I'm going to go back to your point. You talked about both teams kind of executing at a high efficiency rate. When you don't have 4 or 5-star athletes, what happens? These teams now have to zone in on really executing and running their offense to get high-quality shots. So to your point, that's what we've seen the last 4 or 5 possessions for each team. The ball is moving side to side, and now you're able to get either driving lanes or, like McKnight, you're opening up 3-point shots.
You hit it right on the nose, Jim. And these teams are excellent coach teams, and that's what I love. No one's out here trying to make plays off the dribble one-on-one. You don't see a lot of guys dribbling 9, 10 times in a possession. The ball moves.
So many of these kids overlooked by the big programs. As free throws coming up, Davis taking another whack to the face.
Well, James can do it, though, Jim.
Yeah, no, there ain't no question.
But, guys, you're right. Such fundamentally sound basketball by these well-coached teams. Lavelle Moulton leading North Carolina Central. David Richmond and North Dakota State. Rashawn Davis, 69% free throw shooter, putting together a monster line for a second straight year here in Dayton.
19 points, 16 rebounds, 6 for 6, 7 for 7 now, Jim. 5 offensive rebounds and a lot of attention, a lot of double teams. He's been patient. He hasn't rushed plays, letting the game come to him.
That's called maturity, man. I mean, he's been here. He's comfortable in this environment. He's accepting the responsibility of being the leader, and he's making plays for his teammates. And he's not, like you talked about, trying to force the situation when he doesn't have it.
And the fact is, Lavelle Moulton told us that his team was here last year. So many of these kids had experience. The moment hasn't been big for him, and it hasn't been big for that young man. Sam Griesel dialing up to 3, and we are tied.
I thought Douglas fell asleep on his assignment. The reason why Ward was down there on the block against Larry McKnight Jr., you got to let him play him one-on-one. You can't come off a shooter to give him an easy look at the three-point line.
Beautiful backdoor cut by McKnight.
Hey, man, Jim, this is good basketball. I mean, this is fantastic basketball with some kids that know how to play.
Yeah, well, because McKnight is 4 for 6 from behind the arc, that set up the backdoor cut.
4 of Central's 5 starters have scored at least 14 points. Here comes Griesel, a little bit of contact. Ward's putback won't go. And the Eagles have it with 3 minutes left, holding a 2-point lead. North Carolina Central here at the first four for a third straight year, looking for their first tournament victory ever.
Other side of the rim. He had him on the other side of the rim. He throws that.
Open look. Hunter on a three. Offensive rebound. Griesel swatted inside by Douglas. And then a foul on a loose ball. It's against Jordan Perkins. And that leads to 2 free throws for North Dakota State when we come back. Massive call.
Nice backdoor by Larry McKnight Jr. We have a ball game. The Eagles are up 2.
Time now to present the Capital One rewarding performance, and Larry McKnight, the senior out of North Miami, putting together a monster second half.
Yes, indeed, Sparrow. You look at it, he's 4-6 from the three-point line. Jim Jackson talked about it, him knocking down shot. He sets up his back door. He is a redshirt senior, averages about 9 points a game. He has 18, he's 6 for 11. Also give you a rebound, and he has a task of guarding Tyson Ward. So what a game so far for Larry McKnight Jr.
Tyson Ward at the free throw line for 2. 10 team fouls against North Carolina Central, so 2 free throws from here on out for a North Dakota State team that is 9th in the country at the free throw line, 77.4%. David Richmond's team was up 13 points, but North Carolina Central finding its offensive game since halftime. 6th tie tonight.
Jim, question to you right now for me is, it's 0-0 right now with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. What do you want to see from the Eagles side offensively?
Well, when they change sides of the court, that's when they get either a drive or they get an open opportunity. And there it is right here.
Douglas a little bit out of control, follows his own miss, trying to bank it. Another offensive rebound, swatted by Cruiser. 3 chances for Zachary Douglas, turned back. And now North Dakota State can retake the lead.
Talking about Rocky Cruiser, he has 4 block shots, Jim, and he hasn't left the ground yet.
More here at Dayton. This will be another foul. It's on McKnight. And Ward headed back to the line for 2 free throws. McKnight incredulous.
Well, he's upset with the call because the official, I think the cylinder in regards to the call of invading the space, Ward did an excellent job of initiating the contact. One, you get down, get deep position. Now you use your dribble and your shoulder to be able to create that contact, force the official to make a call.
Guys, that's the 4th against McKnight, who's had the hot hand. He's got to be careful here with a $1:41 left, and North Dakota State retaking the lead. Ward leaves one at the stripe. 1:37 left in Dayton. Which of these 2 teams advances to Columbia to take on Duke? Little lofting pass inside to Davis, and he is bumped.
Such a good play by Coach Moten, Jim. It's just a 3-man weave, and then the guy on the side of Rashard Davis, he just empties out, and the North Dakota State defensive player is going with them, and then they lob over, and he's not able to be able to come back and retreat to be able to double team from the baseline.
And Davis does an excellent job of being patient. Then he walks his man up the lane. Now he presents that right arm towards the baseline to give him space to throw the ball over the top.
Biggest free throw in Rashawn Davis's life, and he leaves the front end on the front rim. Those Bison fans behind their bench trying to rally the troops. This would be only the 2nd all-time tournament victory for North Dakota State. Here's Ward, beautiful spin, masterful.
Different defender with Douglas with some length and size, and Tyson Ward looked at him and said, let me show you what I got down on the block. He's skinny, Jim, but he bumped it with the shoulder, spins, and lays it.
Tyson Ward, the junior out of Tampa Prep High School, putting the team on his back. He scored 7 of their last 10 points, and how about this, Deuce?
Well, it's a setup game. He gave himself enough room, Smitty, to have the baseline spin open, okay? Right there, he's eyeing the middle of the lane, okay? Forces the defender, Douglas, to have to look that way. Gave him too much space in a quick spin move. Allowed Ward to exploit that and get to the basket.
What I love, Jim, is he banged him with the shoulder, like you said, against Larry McKnight Jr. And then the next one, the pressure, he just spent off and used his momentum to get a nice deuce.
That's a little step back from Miller, left it short, cleared by Ward. 50 seconds.
You don't need the foul right now if you're North Carolina Central. You need to play solid defense, and for the Bisons, you want to utilize the shot clock. Don't bail out the defense. See if you can get it right here into Ward's hands and let him go to work.
Here he comes again. Ward taking some contact. Going glass. 14-4 run. 24 seconds. Eagles running out of clock. McKnight putting it down. Quick timeout by Lavelle Moulton. It's a 3-point game, so a 1-possession game as the Eagles get their first points in over 3 minutes.
6'6", 190 pounds, soaking wet, comfortable down there, banging with bodies. But what I love is he creates space because of the bounce, being able to lay the basketball. And the lefty is hard to guard down there on the block, Jim.
Jim, what about strategy here? What's Moulton telling his guys? You foul immediately?
Well, with 20.6 seconds left, you want to try to see if you can get a steal first, okay? Because you still have time, but that first pass out of the trap is when you have to foul. I know this is a great free throw shooting team, but you have to try to attempt to get the steal first, force the pressure on the Bisons to have to go to the free throw line and convert on the other end. But you do want to funnel, if you're the Eagles, the ball to go into the deep corner. That way you can utilize the sideline or the baseline as another defender. Hands up, see if you can force a turnover.
And Jim, I used to always love to tell the referee, we're not coming out and fouling.
Right.
We're going to try to come out and get a steal first so they won't think it's an automatic foul.
Yep, great call.
20.6 seconds left. The full court defense, of course, by Lavelle Moulton's Eagles here. Ward the quick pass. It's off the foot of Perkins and out of bounds with 4 seconds coming off the clock.
What's the cardinal rule, Jim? You don't want to leave your feet.
Don't want to leave your feet, that's right. Now, this is a tough angle because Hunter right now can't move. So he's stuck to his spot except for the little 3-foot area to get the ball in.
They've got 6 seconds to get it over midcourt, and a quick foul here by Randy Miller Jr. That'll be his third. And so Jared Samuelson will make the long walk to the free throw line. He is a 90% free throw shooter. Probably the last guy they want to put at the line.
Spirit, what did you say? You shoot from the free throw line?
90.
But see, this is why coaches preach every day in practice, concentrate on your free throws, because more likely than not, a lot of games come down to the ability for a team to utilize the penalty situation, get to the free throw line and convert.
Samuelson, originally a walk-on from small-town Nebraska, named Gretna, Nebraska, population about 4,000. Undoubtedly, a lot of folks from there watching their favorite son do it tonight. What a season this kid has put together, the junior.
Heart and soul of the team.
Rare miss. So the lead at 4, down to 11 seconds. Here comes Miller, full head of steam, and that is a block. Boy, that's exactly what Central wanted here. They stopped the clock. And it will be a 1-and-1, so a non-shooting foul. 1-and-1 from Miller. Was not able to get into his shooting motion. Miller is an 82% free throw shooter. Boy, starting to lose possession right as the contact came.
Yeah, but that was the right play. Yep. Early offense, drive the basketball, put your head down, and Samuelson couldn't get his body squared, Jim, on that one, and got himself to the free throw line. But more importantly, stop the clock.
Well, you stop the clock, but you force North Dakota State to have to try to inbound the ball under pressure. So you don't know what's going to happen from that perspective. That's why you try to take the quick two.
Other big thing here, North Carolina Central is out of timeout, so they can't stop the clock. But it is a one-possession game with 9.6 seconds left. And Lavelle Moulton and North Carolina Central hoping to avoid another year of agony. Last 2 years have lost here in Dayton at the first 4. Both free throws converted. It's a 2-point game. Again, Central is out of timeouts.
Cameron Hunter Utilize the baseline. Don't try to throw a bounce pass in, run and get the ball to, there it is right there.
Nicholas Fennell, the man who checks into the game for Moulton as he quickly fouls Shaheed. Shaheed, an 84% free throw shooter. There's just no weak links when it comes to free throw shooting for David Richmond's bunch.
Spiro, and Jim knows this, there's a lot of guys, no matter what your free throw percentage is, they don't want to come get the basketball. Vinny makes sure he used his body. He wanted to get to the free throw line. He came, got that one with some force, Jim.
Yeah, but I like how Cameron Hunter took the ball to him, because if he tries to throw that pass from underneath, that long bounce pass can get deflected. You can turn it over.
Vinny Shaheed, the newcomer of the year this season in the Summit League. JUCO transfer from Western Nebraska Community College. You talk to the folks who cover this team and the coaching staff. They say this kid is the reason why they are here. And right now trying to extend this to a 4-point lead.
I would tell you strategy-wise, Jim, coaches have different philosophies. Do you put somebody on the ball or do you want to retreat? You definitely got to match up. And if you're the Eagles, no matter what, you got to have your guy get the basketball out. A lot of coaches love to put pressure on the ball, so it won't be an easy throw-in. But North Dakota State elects not to.
Yeah, up 4. Just let him take it.
Hits the big one, makes it a 2-possession game. Down to 3 seconds. That's a 3 from Douglas. Short. And North Dakota State is moving on to Columbia, where they will take on Mike Krzyzewski, Zion Williamson, and #1 overall seed, Duke. Second all-time NCAA tournament victory for North Dakota State. And meantime, for North Carolina Central, their dreams come to an end here at the First Four for a 3rd straight year.
You got to give a lot of credit to the Bisons. They withstood the run, got down, but came back. They shot 57% overall, 50% from behind the arc. But the ability in the second half, 16 for 20 from behind, at the free throw line. That's where the game could be won or lost, Smitty.
You're totally right, Jim. And also looking at the stat sheet, they got 17 points off the bench to the Eagles 0. And I think that played a big part in this game, having some guys like Cameron Hunter come off, give him 7 points, and Edie 7, along with Goo. He didn't have a great game, but he did have 3 points.
North Dakota State moving on as we throw it over to Roz.
Coach, congratulations. You guys get your first tournament win in 5 years, the second ever in program history. What does it mean to get the program back to this point?
It feels great. You know, give a lot of credit to North Carolina Central and Coach Moulton. You know, they did a great game plan against us. They were terrific in the second half. We're just really proud of our guys' resolve down the stretch.
And now you have to enjoy this and then move on to Duke. And I'm curious, what is the message or a toolkit a coach could give his team with the opportunity to make a huge upset?
Yeah, I think it's important that we stay in the moment, Roz, and enjoy this one for a little bit and then prepare. But you're right, we certainly have a great challenge, and any great challenge presents a great opportunity, and we'll be excited Friday night.
All right, thank you, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tyson, come on over. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
You know, I see you going, whew. And I saw in the huddles and timeouts, Coach was telling you guys, poise and rebound, poise and rebound. In what ways were you able to execute poise to hold off their comeback?
You know, later down the stretch, you know, you can't turn the ball over against a good team like that. They play great defense, and they play hard. And, you know, it's just a team like that. You got to stay focused. And those young guys and the older guys, you know, you just got to keep competing no matter the circumstances.
What do you think is most important in being able to take down a giant, as you have Duke next?
You know, just do what got us here. You know, little by little, step by step. First, we got to box out. They got some big guys over there. And, you know, just do what we do best. Shoot that ball and play defense and just get it together.
All right, well, play free. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Rise, congratulations to David Richmond and North Dakota State. Second all-time NCAA tournament victory in their program history. Their reward, Zion Williamson and Duke. But they're going to enjoy this one first. What a night, what a moment for Tyson Ward as he leads the Bison to Columbia, South Carolina. The First Four continues shortly with the St. John's Red Storm set to battle the Arizona State Sun Devils. But first, we'll send you back to our NCAA studios in Atlanta right after these messages.